Welcome. It's great to see uh, all of you. And, if you wish to turn on your video, great. If not, that's fine too. So, we're just so thrilled to have our guests here today from three of the leading summer institutes here in the US: the Brevard Institute, the Boston University Tanglewood Institute, and the Heifetz Institute. And so we had recently had our WMPI summer camp workshop that we presented, sort of an overview of all of the different camps, what kind of camps, might be interest to a middle schooler versus a high schooler, orchestra camp versus chamber music focus camp versus practice camp, all of the different camps, and then all of the awesome activities and fun that you have over the summer is also just something that we should really celebrate and look forward to. So, without further ado, we are going to begin with the Brevard Institute, and I'm very excited to introduce Jenny Kozaros, who is the program director of the Brevard Institute. She's also a violist and is on the viola faculty, so we have to love the violas. And I will now turn it over to you, Jenny. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Hi, everybody. I can't see, but I know you're there. So I'm excited to be here today representing Brevard Music Center. Yes, I'm the program director. I've also been on the viola faculty for about 14 summers, and it's one of my favorite places on the planet. So I'm excited to tell you and share a little bit about it. I'm wondering if we could start with the video. Would that be all right? Thank you, Gemma.
Brevard is, first and foremost, a really extraordinary experience. Every facet of this place breathes inspiration for our students, for our audiences, for the artist faculty who gather here every year. It's a real coming together. First, it's hard to ignore the setting. This is one of the most beautiful places on the planet. We call it home. It's a place where you want to commune with music. It's a place for deep self-searching and for continual improvement. I think there is a very, very special feeling here, and people come together and support each other in pursuit of a common goal, and that is to be the best musician that each of them can individually be.
All my friends inspire me. I mean, everyone is passionate about music here, and music touches everyone.
Every time that I've been here for the summers, I've really expanded my musical knowledge, and it's just a great opportunity.
And you hear other people playing really well, it makes you want to work harder and makes you want to match their levels.
We try to make this a place where, yes, the level of instruction is very high because the level of competition in music is very high. The competition builds people. This is not a place that's about telling people that they're not good enough. Our job is to tell people how good they can be. Instructors here are artist faculty who are totally committed to raising everybody up. And it's a supportive network that really everybody grows off of each other. And everything about this place makes all of our students leave inspired and bettered in some profound way.
Oh,
Oh, well, I think
wanted to hear it again.
enough. Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Great. I'm going to share my screen now. And yep, can everybody see? Great. Well, there's a little bit of a quiz. That was the high school orchestra that was playing in that video. And if you recognize that end Rachmaninoff kind of thing at the end, that's Rachmaninoff's second symphony, one of our favorites, but they just did an incredible job. So I'd like to talk to you a little bit about the high school program, of course, our orchestral studies program. We run from June 23rd through August 6th, like you say there, like you can see there. And that actually is our campus, part of our campus. Those are two of our halls that we have throughout this 180-acre wide campus. It's a beautiful place, a wonderful place for respite, and learning. So many of you may not know where Brevard is. I know I didn't know where Brevard was until I started teaching here. We are set in the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Carolina, like right in the Blue Ridge Mountains, very close to Asheville, not far from Charleston. And it is a beautiful location. So you can see from our map that we're on the East Coast, and it's a wonderful setting right in the mountains. So our orchestral studies program offers a lot of things for our high school students. We give numerous performances. Of course, these are weekly performances where we have a wonderful audience, a supportive audience. We have lessons that are weekly. Of course, that I would imagine you would expect that. With our incredible faculty that's here. I shouldn't say that because I'm one of the faculty, but they are wonderful. One of the unique things that we have here at Brevard is we do mixed age studio classes. So Brevard is not just for high school, it's also for college. So my studio, for example, would have college-age students and high school students. It's very unique, where you get a chance to work together, listen to each other, talk about their college experiences, and college students can then share their experiences with you. You can learn more about where they go to school and what teachers, and it's a unique part and aspect of our program that I think is wonderful. We offer chamber music. It's required of all our high school students, especially strings. Theory and literature is part of our program as well. And that is almost a daily thing that we have between theory and literature, with some incredible faculty that it happens in the morning and they can keep you awake. So that's always good. We also offer excerpt classes, mock auditions, and etc. There's a wide recital series, and we have master classes with guest artists. So there's never really a dull moment here at Brevard. So some of our repertoire highlights, these are just a few of the things that we will be performing this summer. The high school students will be performing. If you don't know Barber's Symphony No. 1, you should go out there and listen to it. It's an incredible work and will be played by our high school students this summer. The Marquez Dunzone No. 2, that's one that makes you tap your feet. Of course, Prokofiev Lieutenant Kiji Suite. If you're a bass player out there, start practicing. That has a big bass solo. Rimsky-Korsakov, the Capriccio Espagnol. Oh gosh, one of the goodies. And yes, it does say Shostakovich Symphony No. 1. So that is a glorious piece, and we're excited. There's much more that's happening, but these are some of our highlights from this summer. So I'm excited. So we have 3 different conductors that are basically our resident conductors. Of course, I think you saw from the video and heard him speak, but Keith Lockhart is our artistic director, and he's our main conductor here. He also happens to be the conductor of the Boston Pops and is a guest conductor all over the world. He's also an alumni here. He was a clarinetist way back in the day. There are pictures to prove it. And he has just a great love for this campus and for this entire organization. So he will provide a wonderful experience. Ken Lamb is actually the resident conductor of the high school orchestra that's here, and everybody likes Ken Lamb. Every year they make t-shirts to Ken Lamb. It's like one of these things. He's an incredible conductor. He is also the newly minted Tianjin Juilliard Director of Orchestral Studies. He's a wonderful person, and I know you'd enjoy working with him. And then of course the fabulous Craig Allen Williams is our director of our wind ensemble, and he's just a treasure trove of knowledge of all things wind ensemble. So we love him. So those are our conductors. In addition, we will have a plethora of guest conductors, Joanne Folletta, and oh gosh, and many, many more. So you work with these, but also others. One thing that we offer is a bit unique for you violinists out there, which is our concertmaster studio. And it is what it sounds like, which means if you'd like to study with a concertmaster, or you'd like to be a concertmaster, or even if not, you just want to know a little bit more about how to lead or how to just build a little bit of confidence, this is definitely the studio to apply for. This is really only for violinists, sorry, violists out there, but this is for our violin students, and they get a chance to study with 4 different concertmasters, not at the same time, but throughout the course of the summer. So there will be David Coucheron of the Atlanta Symphony, Madeline Adkins of the Utah Symphony, Charles Mutter of the BBC Concert Orchestra, and one of my favorites, Nikki Chewy of the Buffalo Philharmonic. They are all incredible concertmasters. You'll hear them, they will play with the orchestras here and then also give you lessons. So it's a wonderful opportunity. I would encourage you to apply. Our faculty come from all over the place, universities, conservatories, and the like, but they also come from many, many major symphony orchestras. And this is just a list of some: Houston Symphony, Atlanta, like we mentioned, the Met Opera Orchestra. We have a trumpet faculty here that just makes me even melt as a violist. You know, I take out my earplugs to listen. He's wonderful. New York City Ballet, Baltimore, Cincinnati, Milwaukee, my old stomping grounds, St. Paul Chamber Orchestra, Toronto, and St. Louis. So, and many others actually. So this is just a glimpse of that. Some of our additional programs that we also offer are a 10-day jazz institute. So let's say you're kind of getting the jazz bug a little bit and you're not sure. This program actually happens prior to our core orchestral program. And it's a wonderful program run by Michael Deese, who is just a talent of the ages and has a real passion for jazz. So if you really want to play jazz bassoon, hey, you never know, just come on and give it a try. We also offer low brass seminar that's a week long before. So if you maybe don't get into the core program, or even if you do, you can also do the brass seminar before and also maybe do both. But it's also with the same faculty that is within the core program too. It's a wonderful program for trombone, euphonium, and tuba. We also have piano, composition, musical theater that is only for high school, opera, of course, saxophone, classical guitar. So if any of these are something that you'd be interested in, we also have these programs as well. So these are 2 of our places for performing. The one on the left is called the Whittington Full Auditorium. This is where all orchestral rehearsals and performances take place. And yes, it does look like that. It's an open air auditorium, so it's open on all sides. There's lawn seating on both sides. It holds about 2,000 people plus. And this is the main stage for where we play anything orchestral. It's a wonderful stage. It has this interesting air conditioning. So yes, it gets a little warm in the summer with it being open air, but it has a strange air conditioning, outdoor air conditioning. So it's, you know, we don't sweat too much. And on the right is our newly minted Parker Concert Hall. This will be the 2nd year that the Parker Concert Hall will be used. It's a remarkable place. It is the home of the piano, chamber, and voice programs, and it is where all these programs, as well as guest master classes and classes, happen as well. So it's a beautiful, beautiful space. We're excited to feature it and have you play there. So a lot of people ask, what does it look like there? Well, on the left, this is your typical practice studio. So it does look like this. Of course, I wish he was a violist, but that is exactly what they look like. And these are where lessons happen, as well as these are practice studios. So we have them smattered all over the campus, and they're lovely. Everything air conditioned. And on the right is a sample of a high school dorm. They pretty much, we call these the cookie cutters because they look pretty much all like this. One thing that's exciting is we have a brand new, we're calling it a mega dorm that looks like this, but just it will hold up to 60 kids. And so that's new this summer, and we're excited about that. But these are basically what they look like. There will be roommates, but usually 1 to 2 roommates. And people seem to like it. It's a rustic charm, we call it. So some additional activities we offer is swimming. We have something that is not a typo. That is what we call bowlioke. It's bowling and karaoke at the same time. It's really a lot of fun. I've witnessed it once. And we have ping pong and basketball. There's hiking. There are waterfall trips. This picture was our piano, one of our piano faculty, their studio. They went on a trip. This is called Looking Glass Falls. Here in Transylvania County alone, we have over 250 waterfalls. So it's beautiful, beautiful for trips. We have and rafting and zip lines and etc. So there's no shortage of something to do outdoors when you're not practicing or playing. So I think this is about the end of my presentation, but our deadlines, our first deadline is February 15th. One thing just to know, if you are a violinist or a pianist, we're having rolling admissions. So that you could be accepted earlier than that, but our deadline is February 15th. There are scholarships available. We have many, many scholarships, not only merit, but work study as well. And also we have something called the Opportunity Scholarship, which is a chance for our African-American and Latinx students, specifically a scholarship for those students. So we encourage you, please don't let anything turn you away. If you'd like to come here, we would love to have you here. And I think that's about it. So thank you so much for the time.
Thank you so much, Jenny. And if anyone has any questions, we'd like to take a moment here to see if you do. And you're free to also write in the chat as we go along, and we can take some questions kind of organically throughout. So
happy to answer anything and all. So
okay. All right.
All right.
Okay. Well, I mean, you pretty much
I have a question.
Oh, yes.
If we have say like an 8th grader who, is, in orchestra at the high school level, are they able to apply for the high school programming?
Yes, our ages are actually 14 through 29 is up to the highest. So if they are 14, they are eligible to be here.
Okay,
yes.
great. Thank you.
Okay, wonderful. All right, so folks, again, if you have any questions moving forward, just please feel free. But for now, we are going to move forward. I am thrilled to welcome our next guest here from Boston University's Tanglewood Institute, Nicole Wendell. She is the executive director and also a violinist as well. So I will now turn to you, Nicole.
Thank you. Thanks so much. And hello, everyone. Jenny, there's not that many questions because you just did so well with your presentation. It's a beautiful thing to witness. I also will start with a video after. Hi, I'm Nicole. Good to see you all, even though I actually can't see any of you. Good to be in the same Zoom room with you all. And I will share my screen and just show you like a little video that will tell a bit about what the vibe is like here. You guys can see this. Thumbs up, you can hear it. No, can you hear it? No, you can. Oh, gosh. So that just gives you a sense of I think the magnitude and the spirit of what is BUTI. And I'll just share my screen again so you don't have to look at my face the whole time. Can you see our brochure? Yes, excellent. So much like Jenny's presentation, this is one of our practice shells, and it's all outdoors and open air like this. You can see just miles of sky. We are also located in a mountainous area in Massachusetts in the Berkshires. And the temperature is 70% of the time the most perfect temperature you could ever imagine for being a human on Earth. And it is incredible. It is just so wonderful. Sometimes it gets a little cool, which is also very cool. Sometimes it gets a little hot, and that's a thing that happens. So what we do best, honestly, is take you from wherever you are, personally, musically, emotionally, just and help you practice the tools, gain the tools to grow at your own pace, not only while you're with us at the program, but long afterward into your life. And I think that is what we really pride ourselves on at BUTI. Although, there are people out there who will say, the music making is the top thing, and it is. It really is the pinnacle of playing, in my opinion. But it also is something so much more than just sitting down in orchestra and noodling your way through. I'll talk about that more later. But musically, we are super connected with the Boston Symphony Orchestra. It's the only program in probably not the world, but definitely the country that is associated and closely linked with one of the top 5 orchestras in the country. And when I say we are closely linked, I mean a bunch of BSO faculty or players are on our faculty. They're always doing master classes. Every night we go see a BSO concert. It's less than it's like half a mile down the road. We all jump on a bus and go over there together. And it's impossible to envision now when you're not seeing it, but I'll try and paint you a picture a little bit more later. So we're really recognized for our partnership with the Boston Symphony Orchestra. And what we tout is this Tanglewood continuum, which is like, you see yourself, you can look in the mirror and you can see yourself where you are musically and like as a person. And then, but it's kind of hard to see, okay, I'm doing this thing, but what does my future look like? Am I going to college? Am I going to be a symphony musician? What is this life like? And the cool thing about being at Tanglewood is you can see just like several steps over and over again. So just ahead of you is the Tanglewood Music Center. And that's our college age, graduate age fellows who are there just on the other campus doing kind of the same thing that you're doing, training to be music professionals. And these are people who have gone through high school and have applied to and auditioned for college and conservatory and are there doing it. And they're looking about what comes next for them. And what comes next for them is, we have the BSO players, we have the Tanglewood Learning Institute guest lecturers and artists, and past TMC there's BSO, and then past BSO there's a whole world of spectacular soloists coming to play. And not only is it a musical experience, but all of these musicians are doing more than just playing. The world and the career and the life of music is so much more than just practicing and playing your notes. It's building a community. It's reaching out to other people. It's an entire world that you don't think about outside of the practice room necessarily. So that is one of the things that we love about BUTI, is that connection to so many other musicians, just small and big steps ahead of where you are in your life. And on BUTI's campus, you are meeting next to you, the peers and your friends. They are the future of the field. And when I tell you that the person that you room with or the person that you meet at lunch through a friend of a friend, you will know them forever. Even if you're not a musician, you'll know them forever. You're going to be in college with them or conservatory, or you'll meet them at an audition somewhere and say, where do I know you from? And they're like, oh my God, I went to BUTI. Or, you know, you'll meet a friend through a friend who happens to know a friend, and you're like, wait, didn't I go to BUTI with them? And it's incredible. It's amazing. You will have BUTI friends for the rest of your life. And no matter where you go on campus, you're going to see people creating in real time. And I, again, don't just mean music. I mean, thinking outside the box, improving, working together to put together a gospel choir out of thin air to come perform at lunch one day. I mean, these things are happening all the time. And the days are full, don't get me wrong, days are full, but there's also so much time in between things to sit and to kind of absorb what's happening around you and within you, and just let that sink in really deeply. And a lot of times you leave Tanglewood and you're like, wow, that was fantastic. And yeah, that was a great playing experience. And then you wonder, you know, did anything really change? And then like 3 months later, what happens is you just out of nowhere turn into a whole different musician. You're like nailing things that you never were nailing before, and it just seems supernatural and really fluid. And that is the growth that continues to happen long after you leave the program. So our large ensembles are, you know, our young artist programs, you have large ensemble rehearsal in the morning. It is a true joy to wake up early and with perkiness and grab breakfast, which I'm sure you'll all do, and head over to orchestra rehearsal with all of your friends on the bus. It's going to be a blast. You will commiserate over sticky seats, and it's going to be a joy. You know, it sounds bad, but I tell you, it's great. And then in the afternoons, we'll have a lunch. We have practice time, private lessons. We have guest artist performances. We have electives and lectures, and then later in the afternoon we have chamber music rehearsals and ensembles, coachings. And then, like I said, every night you go over to the lawn on the BSO Tanglewood campus, and you know, you take your friends. Imagine you are just like looking out on green grass for like as far as the eye can see. And you can see maybe like 10 trees that are of medium height. And over beyond the grass, there's a huge like shed. And it's, when I say huge, I say huge. Like you can't even really see the stage exactly without the big screens and the loudspeakers playing this music at you. And it's like 7:30 p.m. and the sun is sort of starting to set, and the sky is this beautiful like pink, orangey, purple cloud, and the grass is starting to get a little dewy, and you've gotten 2 full mosquito bites on your right arm, and you have your favorite chips and like 2 sodas, and you're on a blanket with 3 of your friends, and 2 other friends come over and put a blanket down next to you, and you're chatting and you're laughing. And then suddenly you hear the oboe play that A, and the crowd just silences. And the magic and the feeling that happens in that moment where you're on the lawn with, you know, 5,000 of your favorite friends, and the BSO is there playing for you. And you get to experience that night after night after night. It is truly incredible. So the programs that we have are varied. In the first part of the summer, we have a set of 2-week workshops that are for all orchestral and wind ensemble instruments, as well as 2 different kinds of composition workshops, a string quartet and a woodwind quintet workshop. And these are very like instrument specific, think, you know, boot camp for flute. You're there, it's a small group, and you're just totally focused on the technical aspect and musical aspect of how to play your instrument. And then later in the summer, we have our long young artist programs. And these are typically 6 weeks with some variation. We have voice, harp, composition, orchestra, wind ensemble, and piano. Our wind ensemble program is a little shorter, it's 4 weeks. And our piano program is split into 2 3-week sessions. Each of the programs is different in size. Our vocal program is about 60 to 65 students. Our composition program is just 10. It's a very tight-knit group. Orchestra could be like a million, who knows? 1,000 million students in orchestra. If you think about it, they're going to be there. We're going to fit you in the barn. It's going to be incredible. Sticky seats on the bus and everything. So in addition to the BSO concerts, we also have BUTI faculty concerts, BUTI student concerts. You can go and see your friends play and perform, and you can see your faculty members, and you know, these faculty members are BSO players, they're Boston University professors, they're New England Conservatory, Boston Conservatory. I mean, the number of schools and conservatories in Boston will make your brain come out your whole ears. It's unbelievable. And they're all coming out to Tanglewood because it is like the meeting place of the Northeast for musical summers. You guys might know Joseph Conyers there, who's conducting our orchestra. He's a pal, he'll be there. And he does some incredible work with our bass players and with all of our students in general. And two more things I want to talk about. The thing that I think you really get at BUTI that is hard to find other places is a cross-program collaboration and connection. One of the coolest things I think that happens every summer is that the composition students will write a piece and recruit their friends to rehearse it and perform it at the end of the program. Like their final concert comes from the students who are performing, which is amazing. And then finally, I just want to say that something that we care a lot about at BUTI is growing and forming a cohort of students who come from Black backgrounds, Latinx backgrounds, Korean American backgrounds, Indigenous, you know, Native Alaskan. We want students to come to BUTI who bring something different to the table, and beyond what is already their musical and personal excellence. And the ways we do that is our students are invited to come as their full and authentic selves. There's no uniform requirement. There's no, you can and can't do this. You can and can't go here. You're free to walk downtown if you want to go to a restaurant. You're free to decide, do I want to practice or do I want to have a nap? You're free to listen to the music that you want to listen to when you want to listen to it. You're free to meet up with your friends and walk yourselves to the Tanglewood campus and just explore what it means to have the full responsibility of being your full self. We also sport a ton of meeting groups and safe spaces for students to occupy and inhabit when it feels like, you know, this is a new place that I don't know that many people, and maybe that many people don't look like me or come from the place that I come from, or, you know, I don't know how to be in this kind of environment. And we really are putting aside spaces for students like that, and not only for students who have those fears and concerns, but also for students who want to be there and support students who are having fears and concerns like that. We're fostering a community. We're not just bringing people together to do music stuff. This is for life. And we really think that it's hard to come into a space that you know is unusual for you to occupy. You know, it's out in the middle of the country where maybe you're used to being, you know, in the city where there's a bunch of cars or buses. And, you know, providing a space for students to do that, providing a critical mass of students so that you don't feel like you have to make your voice small in order to fit in. Yeah, we're here trying to make space for everybody in a really authentic way. So that is the beauty of BUTI, and I will end my talking there and happy to take any questions.
Great. I actually put that in the chat, but you mentioned about Joseph Conyers, and we have a student, Jonathan, who worked with him in a master class. Jonathan.
Oh, fab.
not during during our program, but previously. Any questions, everyone? Again, we can try to take some at the very end as well. Okay.
I'm not worried about it. Questions are hard.
Wow. Well, you all are just really covering everything, so this is great. Okay, so I'm so happy to introduce Claudia Encinas, who is the program director of Heifetz Institute. And Claudia, thank you. And I will now turn it over to you.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here, and it's so cool to see both of these programs and your presentations. I was a student that wanted to go to these programs when I was younger, so it's great to see that now there's all these different opportunities for people like me to that I didn't get to go, but now maybe you guys can. So that's really cool. Okay, so yes, I'll tell you a little bit about Heifetz, but first I'd like to show you a video.
The Heifetz Institute was founded 25 years ago with the mission of developing the creative and expressive potential of every young musician.
It's a different environment. You're not here to be judged. You're here to learn and to grow with everyone.
The listening and the understanding of how music really fits together makes it so a true virtuoso brings a sensitivity and a nimbleness and a creativity to the way they interact with music, which means they can play these solo virtuoso pieces so beautifully, they can play a string quartet so beautifully.
My time here in Stanton has been absolutely amazing. It's such a beautiful area, and it really puts you in a zone to learn and do your best.
The Heifetz Institute is really founded on 3 pillars. The first pillar being the outstanding faculty that we attract who come from some of the leading music schools and conservatories around the globe.
The amazing world-class faculty of the Institute drew me to apply. When I arrived, I was surrounded by incredible, mature, and passionate musicians.
Performance by itself is not necessarily complete. There's also the aspect of reaching out and connecting with your audience.
The second pillar is our communication and performance training. Our students are also learning about public speaking. They're learning about dramatic gestures and movement, improvisation, even little things like how you look at an audience and how you bow, how you learn to speak before an audience, why you stand, you don't sit.
There's an element where they really need to question themselves about what is it that I am trying to communicate? Where does it reside inside myself? How do I connect with that? How do I explain that to people?
Giving a speech to our audience and really informing them of what we're playing or how we feel about the piece gives the audience an inside look of what we're thinking when we're performing.
And then finally, our third pillar is that these aren't just theories, these are things that we put into practice. And that is where our intense festival of concerts comes into play, and where the audiences play such an incredible role in the development of our young students.
The opportunities to perform are kind of endless, which is such an important thing to actually get hands-on experience and not to just stay in a practice space or rehearsal.
We're adding a number of new innovations, including an even deeper focus on behavioral science, how students can learn about their own behaviors so that they'll be better at practicing, better at performing.
Though we all listen very hard while we're playing, every time a student is asked to perform, there is a dress rehearsal which is carefully audio taped and videotaped that allow us to really witness our playing in the same way that an audience witnesses that playing. Listening to yourself with that kind of intensity, no matter what, leads to you having a better understanding of what you're aiming to do in the concert that is coming up. Taking a great performance and making it even greater.
There's a wonderful line that one of our patients said to us. They talk about Heifetz students who arrive like stick figures and they leave like moving works of art.
I think now the Institute is in such a special place where it's continuing to grow, adding new programs. I think it's really just a magnificent gift to Stanton and to American music in general.
It's about the emotion and the expressivity, the personality that's inherent in every performer and in the music that they play.
And we were joking about this, but now I'm definitely going to have that piece stuck in my head for the rest of the week. But okay, I'll share my screen. All right. So the Heifetz Institute is different than both programs that you've heard about today in that we are not an orchestral institute. We have only one orchestra type performance at the end of the program where all of the students come together and play a really fun movement of a piece together to close out the whole thing. And everything that comes before that is solo music or chamber music. Like you saw my boss tell you in that video, we have a few different aspects to our program besides the music making. We have something called performance and communication training, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. And something that we've just recently added, which is called practice analytics and behavioral coaching. And this is something that's kind of been growing in the industry for the past few years, and it's become a kind of a really important part of a musician's growth. And we've taken this on, and we have a fantastic behavioral coach that works with all of our students on practice habits and developing practice habits that work for you, not just something that is kind of you should do this and this is the only way to do it, but how can we take aspects of your personality and of your behavior in order for you to be able to build a good practice schedule. So our program has two divisions, and they're based on age. So our junior division is for students that are 15 or under, and if you're a junior division student, you can be there for a 3-week session or for 6 weeks, which is the full duration of the program. But if you're in the senior division, you only have one option, and you have to be there for 6 weeks. That's for students that are, and there's a little bit of an age overlap. The senior division is for students that are 13 and over. So the reason we have that overlap there is because sometimes we have students that are 13 or 14 that don't really want to be there for 6 weeks yet, so they want to be there for 3 instead and kind of build up to that. And if you are a member of the senior division, then you also have the opportunity to apply to the chamber music seminar. Our artistic director, Nicholas Kitchen, whom you saw in that video as well, he's the first violinist of the Romeo String Quartet, faculty at New England Conservatory. Nicole was, when you're talking about all the Boston conservatories, obviously immediately I started thinking about Nick. And he's a wonderful musician, a wonderful chamber musician, and a wonderful teacher. And he's been, since he became our artistic director, he's been really putting an emphasis on chamber music in the Institute. And it's become a really big part of what we do on a daily basis. So the way that our program is structured is, as a student here, you get 2 private lessons per week, and then 1 studio class a week at the end of the week. You are also in 2 chamber coachings per week. And so the way that the schedule usually works is that you might have a lesson on Monday, chamber coaching Tuesday, another lesson Wednesday, another chamber coaching Thursday, and then your studio class on Friday. And then in the afternoons is when we have, when you'll have performance and communication training. And these are classes like yoga, movement, dance, wellness, public speaking, those types of things. And then, like I said, there's also practice and performance analytics, and this is something that is scheduled as needed or ad hoc throughout the summer. We also have things like some residencies, either in person or virtually, with local hospitals or senior centers. And then we have lots of artists, that guest artists, aside from our faculty that are there for the summer, that come to give seminars, master classes, and we've also had some luthiers come and bring their instruments for you to try. We've had some fine instrument sellers that come with their Stradivarius, and you get to play on that if you want. And one of the biggest things about the Heifetz Institute is our social media presence, and most importantly, our YouTube channel. We have a really, really strong media presence, and on YouTube we have more than 55,000 subscribers, and our YouTube channel overall has gotten at least 14 million views or something like that. So we record, high quality record every single performance, and then we live stream all of our indoor performances as well. And all of these performances that you would be presenting get edited by our multimedia team and posted on our YouTube channel. And then you can use these things for submitting for auditions and those kinds of things moving forward. And then some of the, the more lighthearted things that we do, we have hikes or various field trips to, we're located in Stanton, Virginia, which is in the middle of the Shenandoah Valley, and there's a lot of historical places nearby. So we've sometimes taken students to Monticello or to the Luray Caverns, many different attractions that are in the area. And then there's also things that we do on campus, like outdoor movie nights, or we have karaoke nights and things like that. And then, of course, we always invite all of our students, staff, and faculty to participate in all of our DEI initiatives. And these things include talks or just, having conversations among a particular group of people, and just a number of other things. Let's see. And speaking of our performance opportunities, we had last year more than 50 concerts in the span of 6 weeks. So we have a concert pretty much every day. And the Stars of Tomorrow concerts, which are the most student-focused ones, happen twice a week. And then the student concert for our chamber music seminars happen once a week. And also, as part of these concerts, we have faculty and student collaborations. So if you've ever wanted to play in a string quartet with Nick Kitchen, then you would get to do that if you were a student here. We have free afternoon concerts that are always in a downtown Stanton location. I believe next year we're going to be doing it in an art gallery. And we have a really lovely audience that loves to come to see all of our students. They come to the first concert and then they follow their progress the whole way through. So you get groupies. And if you're a participant in this junior division, then we have a series of concerts that's dedicated specifically to our junior division students. So we try to make sure, and I don't think we've ever failed in this, that we have students perform at least once overall. And this is solo or chamber music. But if you're in the junior division, then you have to perform at least twice. So you will perform one solo piece and one chamber music piece. Then at the end of the week, on Fridays, we have a concert that features our faculty. And then sometimes we have some guest artists and some students that get asked to participate in these concerts as well. And then something that's very special that we do on Saturday nights is our Heifetz Hootenannies, and this is when you can kind of let your hair down and play, if you want to play some jazz, if you want to fiddle, if you want to do something that you want to show people about and something that they don't know about you, and you don't even have to play. We've had people come and dance, we've had people sing, nobody knew that they could sing, and so it's a really fun evening and our audience loves it. And then finally, we have things like house concerts and various outreach performances that we do in the Virginia area. Ahead of each concert, we have what's called Tape and Listen. Nick talked about this in the video, but I'll go into a little bit more detail. This is a full concert rehearsal that happens the day before the performance. And so, like he was saying, we record everything, and then one of our media members takes the SD card with your performance into our artistic director's studio. and he will sit with you and listen to the whole performance with you. And if you want feedback, he will give it to you, but it's not a requirement. He just wants to sit there and listen with you so that you get an idea of what your performance will sound like the next day. I talked about this a little bit already, but this is Adam Hockman. He's our behavioral and practice coach. And he's been featured recently on the Strad and the Violin channel. So if you're interested in learning more about the kinds of things that he teaches, then I encourage you to look him up. He's had many articles published that speak to the kinds of things specifically that he will be doing at the Summer Institute with us. And then again, our performance and communication training is one of the most unique things about our program, because we don't just want to teach you how to play, we also want to teach you how to be a whole well-rounded musician. So taking care of your body to avoid injury. I myself had carpal tunnel when I was in undergrad, and it was not fun. So I recommend that you do everything that you can to avoid something like that. And then if you get nervous talking in front of people, or if you get stage fright, things like that, our communication training will help you in those areas. I'll tell you a little bit about our faculty. So the way that our faculty is set up is in two ways, and this depends on the division that you're in. If you're in the junior division, our faculty is there for the duration of the session. So for example, for session 1, Chloe Kiffer from the Manhattan School of Music will be there for the full session 1 for the first 3 weeks, teaching the students in her violin studio. And then the same thing is true for session 2, for example, for Desiree. So then the violin 1 teacher changes from Chloe to Desiree for the second session. Then for our senior division is pretty different, because we have 6 weeks, and as you can see, we have 4 violin studios, 2 viola studios, and 2 cello studios. We accept 8 students per studio in the senior division and 10 students per studio in the junior division. So if you were in violin studio 1, you would get to have lessons with Nicholas Kitchen for the first week, then Ani Kavapian the second week, Mark Kaplan for the third week, so on and so forth. So you get to have lessons with all of the teachers that are listed under your studio. So you get a lot of information from different areas and from different types of musicians. I talked about this a little bit. We've been really putting an emphasis on our chamber music training, and so we have the chamber music seminar, which is in addition to being a senior division student. And if you're in the chamber music seminar, then you have 3 or 4 chamber coachings a week, and those coachings are about an hour and a half long, and you focus on finishing an entire work by the first 3 weeks, and then by the end you finish on another entire work. So that's the main focus of the chamber music seminar, is working on an entire work with your chambermates together. And then we have our non-seminar chamber music faculty who work with our senior division and junior division students in giving you coachings twice a week. There's no full work requirement if you're not in the chamber music seminar, but we often get students that finish an entire work by the end of the summer, and that's really cool to see as well. We have a lot of different financial aid and scholarship opportunities. The most important ones that I'll mention here are even for applying, we have ways for you to get application fee waivers if that's something that you need. We provide merit-based financial aid. Those awards are up to $2,500, and we also provide need-based financial aid, and there's no limit to how much that could be. It could be for paying for the entire program. Aside from that, we also have 12 merit-based programs of full scholarships, and these are 12 for the chamber music seminar, and then 12 string scholar spots. String scholar students are students that submitted an additional piece as part of their application. It's all outlined in the application form. And you provide a very compelling case why you feel like you need to be a string scholar at the Heifetz Institute. And then the chamber music seminar students are students that are selected for the chamber music seminar. Our application deadline is January 31st. We do sometimes get late applicants, and those are considered, but I do encourage you to apply before the deadline because you'll get the best chances that way. And yeah, that's it. Now I have my questions slide.
Oh, thank you so much.
Of course.
Thank you. Yes. So we, we have recorded the session for everyone. We have a few students who reached out, said they couldn't attend, but they're going to be reviewing the recording, so there might be questions rolling in. So hopefully, we'll be in touch with that. But just in general, if our students have any questions for you all, is it okay if I can just refer you to your?
Please.
Does that work?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes.
No problem at all. You can send them to my direct email is fine.
Great. And so we will share that with the cohort as well. All right, just any questions? Okay. All right, well, thank you all so much. I think that I certainly learned a lot, and it was amazing to see, gosh, how incredible the programs are, how beautiful the setting is. It just gives you a chance to just take a step back and kind of soak in the music, form those new friendships, and honestly take a break from school, which is needed, I think. So, so students, if you want to just make a quick note of their emails there, we will, like I said, be sharing the recording, and we look forward to being in touch and hopefully have some interest. So, okay, guys.
Great.
Thanks
Thank
so
you so much.
Good night.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Thank you.
Happy
Bye.
Thank you for this.